What's up, Padawan? What's up, Padawan? Afrojoe, Wookie, is. Dude, I've been sitting here watching this documentary over and over and over again. I'm watching it again right now, and I'm on like the fifth episode of the second season. And it's been racking my brains about this whole Natalia Bennett, Barnett, and the Barnett families. And the reason why I say that is because this is why there's a lot of things that went on before the Barnett. And it left me with so many questions because everybody was focusing on the Barnetts. Everybody's focusing on the Barnetts. I'm not saying the Barnetts are saints. I ain't saying the Barnetts didn't do no wrong. What they did was jacked all the hell. But I had to get it. What got me was the first season. And I kept listening and listening and listening. And there was like this name that keeps popping up. There was a name that kept popping up. Ciccones. The Ciccones. That name kept popping up. Michael Bennett said it. Miss Judith Irving has said it. Uh, the Depaws have said it. The Ferris have said it. And I'll tell you this, we're going to touch down on those names, Judith, Irving, Dwayne, and Robin Ferris, and the DuPonts. The reason why is these are three families that are little people that was trying to adopt Natalia before the Barnetts. And what they said was so out there, it threw me out because I kept listening over and over again what they were saying. If they would have, like, for what they said was true, if what they said was true, they could have did something to stop Natalia getting to the Barnetts, and she wouldn't have to go through the hell with the Barnetts. And I gotta talk about it because it's burning the holy hell out of me. And the first one is Judith Irving. This is this lady here. You might see her talk about Natalia in the first season of the Natalia case, and she talks about first. Let's start back with the second season when Natalia said she was adopted by the Ciccones family, and the Ciccones family brought her home. This is not her name. This lady that you see is not Ciccones. Her name is Judith Irving. She met with Gary and Diane Ciccone, but the way she met him is so fucked up. Not fucked up, but this is what made it so messed up is that Natalia, you hear from the second season, Natalia speaks, and you hear that Natalia was adopted by the Ciccones, Gary and Diane Ciccone, and Natalia was playing with their son, and she fell on his arm, hurting it. Gary got mad, got pissed off, and said something to Natalia. Natalia said, I was crying, said, I hate you. And, and I tell you, and this is one thing, because I will get to more stuff that's going to freak people out, because people kept focused on the Barnetts than anything else. Like the Barnetts, dude, if it's 1,000 piece puzzle, don't be sitting up there looking at two pieces and thinking that's the whole puzzle. And like I always talk about Padawans, I always look for the crack in the fabric. I always look for the crack in the fabric. And that's what Dick Greg always says. Always look for the crack in the fabric. And so Diana Ciccone told Natalia, she said, we're sending you back. Now she's like, you're not my daughter no more, but I will still love you like you. I will still love you. So Gary and Diana went to Little People of America. That's where they met this woman right here you see, named Judith Irving, asking her if she wanted to adopt Natalia. She was, if you go back and listen, she's like, why would the Ciccones spend $25,000 on a Ukrainian tour and only spend 1 year with her and want to get rid of her? And want to get rid of her. And that made me question. I say, nobody knows that. That's the one, nobody's questioning it. She wanted to adopt Natalia, but she didn't have the money. Then we're going to move on to another family, which even more blows my mind. It's the Ferris. It's the Ferris. It's Dwayne Ferris and his wife, Robin Ferris. You might recognize Robin Ferris from True Life. I'm a Little Person. So they met the Ciccones through Little People of America, wondering if they wanted to adopt Natalia. Now you gotta listen to what the husband said. Dwayne Ferris said in the documentary. Because I give him kudos, and I was like, give him kudos, and I give his wife kudos because what they said was so on point, and it made me question it more and more every time I listen to it. So they say, yeah, we might want to adopt Natalia. So what happened was they told the Ciccones told the Ferris to meet them at a house. They said when they went out there, it was like Camp Crystal Lake, and the house set up on a hill, and there was a rocky, and it was like a gravel driveway, and they was questioning us like, well, Natalia is a dwarf and she's got health issues and walking issues. If she had those plastic things on her feet, she would have fell and hurt herself. Or what if she did fall and hurt herself? So the Ciccones already had surgery on Natalia because of her feet. So they was talking, the Ciccones and the Ferris was talking about adoption of Natalia. So the Ciccones was trying to get the Ferris to pay for her last surgery. They said, no, we shouldn't have to pay for a surgery that's in the past. But they wanted to have Natalia tested. The Ferris wanted to have Natalia tested to see if Natalia had a mental issue. The Ciccones said no. It's the second family. None of little people this, they want Natalia because of what the Ciccones was putting out there. So that was gone. The Ferrisers were not interested in Natalia. And these families have the same dwarfism as Natalia. Then we come to the DePauls. The DePauls. Now the DePauls wanted Natalia. She lived with them for a while. They was gonna adopt her. But since Natalia was in the Ciccone's custody or guardianship, or what was it? They was adopted by the Ciccones. The Ciccones took Natalia away from them. And the reason why it was a thing they said was the reason why Natalia was taken away from them before they even adopted her was because somebody called Child Protective Service on the Ciccones, and they thought it was the DuPauls that did it. The DuPauls says we didn't call Child Protective Service, and it made me question why would the DuPauls call Child Protective Service on the people that's trying to give Natalia to them? Makes no sense. These are three little families that tried to adopt Natalia before the Barnetts got her. Now, the Barnetts got a hold of her. Now the Barnetts got a hold of her. Which left me to question a lot of things about this. Like I said, there are no saints for what they did. But from hearing about here in a certain area and a certain cycle at a young age, it made me question. But you gotta give benefit of the doubt when you heard Michael talk about, well, we was told that she was an adult by a doctor, which it can be true or a lie because he didn't show the paperwork, but he did show paperwork that they changed her age, but it left questions. He said, and I watched and listened to him talk. There was things that he didn't even know his wife was doing to Natasha, like pepper spraying her in the face, like that. And so, but they'll find the artwork and talk about bye Barnetts and perishing them and burying their bodies under the deck. And farting on the kids or using the bathroom on herself and rubbing on the boys. So they sent her to. So the Barnetts did send her to get tested. They said she needs to be locked up. So when Natalia got locked up, if you watch the first season and you watch the second season, you're listening to the actual phone calls from the mental institute calling like telling them it's like, well, Natalia was acting inappropriately to the male patient because they thought she was grown. A lot of people thought she was grown because the way she looked. They looked at her and like, just because she's a little person doesn't mean she doesn't look grown. And the nurses at the mental institute will say that she be talking to the male patients and offer them sex, and talking about being these guys' girlfriend. You claim to be six. You claim to be 6 years old. What 6 year old do you know is talking about sex at that age? I know there's kids at that age that I know that ain't talking shit. They don't even know what the hell that means. So they had to call the Barnetts to come pick her up and take her because the mental institute couldn't handle her because of what she was doing to the male patient. They said something's wrong with her, but something mentally wrong with her that y'all need. She needs therapy, lots of it, but that was all they said. They said, "Oh, can you do it?" "Oh no, hell no." That's what they said. No, we can't do it. So they had to deal with it. Then they had to deal with the girl hiding knives in the bed, taking the boys' favorite toy and throw out on the street, then putting cleaning supplies off in Christie's coffee. So next thing you know, I'm sitting like, damn, this girl bad shit crazy. So I'm sitting up there, I was like, damn, this sounds so fucked up. Like, this is the worst thing to hear. And so when she was like, they did re-age her, which I thought was the bullshit thing to do. They did re-age her, and they stuck her in an apartment. And the apartment that she was living in was one floor, just one level. That's it. Because they say she was like 22. When every age they say it was 22. And the neighbors got the best of me. The neighbors. And I'll tell you why the neighbors got the best of me. And the reason why I say the neighbors got the best of me is because what they said. This is one of them. Him and this guy, I forgot his name. Him and his wife lived across the street. He was like, they was watering their flowers, and Natalia comes running across the street talking. And it's the same thing. Everybody says the same thing when they meet her. They thought that she was a child from a distance, but when she got up close, she's like, she's not a child. She's a grown woman because she don't talk like a grown. She don't talk like a child. Like she has talk like her vocabulary is big enough that you thought she's an adult the way she talked. So they thought she was an adult because the way she spoke. I was like, back in that time, I was in my 20s, like just about getting in my 20s. I think 2014, like 13, I was in my 20s, about to get out of my 20s. I was in my 20s, like I said, yeah, in my 20s, something like that, about to leave my 20s, mid 20s. And the neighbors around her said the same thing. They were saying that she talked like a grown person, acted like a grown person. And there was an elderly lady named Sue. She got the best of me. Sue. It was not just Sue. There was another lady that was at the apartment complex that said the same thing. They said that she smelled. That was her. It was Sue. Another lady. There was a guy that lived out 2 doors down. There was a mechanic. And there's some gentleman and his wife. They all said the same thing. She smelled. She had body odor. She didn't wash herself. She, she was wearing bras. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm sitting there listening to these people. Like people saying the same damn thing, but different versions. It's like different versions of this. And it was like, what does that mean? Like, you telling me that she was wearing a bra? All I'm saying is she looked like she was wearing a bra. Then somebody called DHS and saying that they came to talk to Natalia, and it was like, no, before they called DHS, they all said the same thing about Natalia and this little boy. They said something about Natalia and this little boy that was playing out in the grass. And Natalia was trying to undo this little boy's pants. And one of the neighbors says, Natalia, what the hell are you doing? Leave that little boy alone. And the boy's father came up yelling at Natalia. Now Natalia says that didn't happen, but she did get yelled at. That confirms you was doing it. If you're saying that daddy, if you're saying the father was yelling at you, there's no, there's there, there's no, you know, it's just when you hear about this father jumping on Natalia because of what was happening. No parents gonna yell at you for no reason. There had to be a reason, and that father did not say nothing. Did not even comment for the documentary. Nobody's talked to this father. Nobody's talked to him. Like it's funny. Nobody's talked to Ciccones about what was they hiding, or the father that was yelling at Natalia. Nobody. I'm questioning about this because I'm wondering, what are you hiding? So what makes it even worse is you hearing these neighbors saying she's talking sexual. She talk about all this stuff. Natalia said, "Oh, I didn't know what I was saying." Really, man, I know a lot of, like, one thing is I got little cousins and stuff, man, that know these words, but they don't use them like Natalia do. And I was up there, I was watching Dr. Oz, and was hold on, the Dr. Oz episode was 3 months ago. There was a Dr. Oz where I was talking to, doing the rehashing of the entire story and Michael Bennett and going through the case. This is before the documentary come out, and they was asking was she on disability about her disability. Michael says no, we didn't even get no court papers saying she was disabled. Have you? And I'm asking, like, it made me question. It's like, if this girl's supposed to be disabled, where's the documentation saying she's disabled? Because you know, before you even walk around saying you're disabled, you can say you're disabled, but legally you got to go through court to get documentation saying you're disabled. Because one thing is, they got courts that say that you got to go to. It's called disability court, and what it is, disability court is where a judge will read over what the doctor says and what you go through on a daily of pain and suffering that you go through. So the judge will read over what the doctor said on what you can and cannot do physically, physically, and nothing was said about Natalia being disabled. You can sit there and say, well, she's on a walker. You can be on a walker all fucking day and still work. But that courtroom, that judge, has got to say you're disabled because that judge goes by what the doctor said. If the doctor says this person cannot work a 9 to 5 job, that judge will read that and says, okay, this person is disabled. You're disabled. Hasn't happened. Natalia's not disabled. you got. I know some of y'all say, Afro, you're not a judge. I know I'm not a judge, but by law, that's how it works. For anybody to sit there and say you're disabled, you got to have paperwork from a doctor saying that you're disabled. Then you got to have a judge say you're disabled because that doctor cannot because I mean that judge cannot override what the doctor says. And this is one thing. It's like I said, the Dr. Oz had Michael Bean and all this. And what makes it even worse is like after, like people didn't pay attention to what the neighbors said. I was like, y'all hear what these neighbors are saying? Cause y'all acted kind of funny about that. Y'all ignoring things like that. Then they get then then she gets put out. Then the thing gets put out because the people in the apartment complex was getting tired of what she was doing, walking in their houses, eating their food, talking sex. And what made it worse is Sue talks about Natalia brushing up on her grandson, trying to essay him. And it's like, wow, that's terrible. But then it's like, what is up with this little girl? What's up with this girl? What's wrong with this woman? I don't know. But so she gets put out. She gets put out, and what was it? Barnett. Christine Barnett takes Natalia and they go get her another place in Lafayette. And she was on the second floor and all this and that. Cut off her lights. Michael said, why'd you do that? Don't cut off her lights. Turn it back on. Give her phone back and all this and that. And what made it worse was, like I said, the Barnetts, they did some fucked up shit. But people need to look at other things that didn't look right. You know, Michael was getting Natalia's welfare checks to pay the rent, the gas, the lights, and all this and that to pay her bills. Because when they put her in Lafayette, they already went to Canada. So Michael and Christine get a divorce in 2014. Michael goes back. Christine was trying to fuck over Michael. She's like, oh, I got rid of Natalia now. I'm trying to get rid of my husband. They divorce. He flies back to the States. Christine stays up there in Canada with his three sons. But here's something else. While she was married to Michael, she was also texting another man. His name is Freddie Gill or 2 Foot Fred. 2 Foot Fred. And the reason why she was talking to him it was because she was asking about his dwarfism because he has the same dwarfism as Natalia. He was telling her about this and that and the other about his disability. So he it was I got to talking, then she started talking sexual stuff to him. And he had all the texts. This mug had all the receipts. Pics, new pics of her, texts, the whole shebang. Then she sits up here and tries to hook Natalia up with him. He said, "Oh hell no, no, I don't mess with little people. Even though I'm a little person, I don't mess with little people. I like big people." And that's what messed him up. And she was trying to flip out Natalia to this man. It's in the documentary. You hear this like you're not just hearing from him, like you hear from him. Like she was trying to pimp him out, and you also hear from him that Christina was up there telling him that Natalia was sleeping with Michael and trying to have sex with Michael. That was a lie. The whole the whole Natalia sleeping with Michael was a lie. But it's just the simple fact is people, y'all got to stop overlooking a lot of things. I got to stop overlooking. But as we go about it, is this: when Natalia was living in Lafayette, she run across Antoine and Cynthia Van. So Natalia, like Michael, stopped getting Natalia's welfare checks for him to pay her bills. She had a food stamp card that was wiped clean because of these two. How he found out about Anton Man and Cynthia Man is because the GED place called him. It says we don't know what Natalia's at. We lost Natalia. Have you seen Natalia? Says, oh my God, where did Natalia go? She was with these two the whole time. They would take her food stamp card and wipe it clean. Got her to sign out her welfare check over to them. And Michael was like, "You met them 3 days ago, and you already giving them your food stamp card and your welfare check. That just scammed me. They just scammed you out of everything." And and they say it, and that was and had like they got 11 kids, and you just scammed this girl out of your food stamps and her welfare check. Is that what y'all was doing? Using her for her food stamps and welfare check? And you supposed to be a bishop? Come on, dude. You supposed to be a bishop and take the money from this girl. But here's the deal. Cynthia's brother went on Dr. Oz talking about she don't work. They got focused. She don't work. This is like 8 months ago. I think 3 months ago. Yeah, 3 months ago, where he appeared on Dr. Oz talking about this. That his sister got the 4 kids. She don't work. Does Anton work? Because we haven't heard what he do for a living. We don't hear what he does for a living. But if she's a stay at home mom, how can y'all adopt all these kids? How can you adopt Natalia? If your husband Anton's working, how the hell do you have the money to adopt any of these kids while you living in the church? Where y'all getting this money at to adopt these kids? That's what I'm questioning these two. Michael pointed that out. It's like you met these people 3 days ago and you giving them everything. And at the end, and what makes it even worse was at the end of the series, at the end of Natalia Speaks, you hear Antoine calling the producers after they adopted her, saying, "This girl up here talking about we hold her hostage. We hold her hostage." And you hear Cynthia saying she's stabbing her family in the back. And so it's like this girl tweaking. She's on something. We done with her. We through with her. What happened? What happened? Y'all was so fond of taking her money and her food stamp. Then what happened? Two, why ain't nobody like I agree with some people said on TikTok and all that. They felt this girl. This girl's really fucked up, and I agree with Dwayne Ferris and his wife Robin Ferris. This girl should have a mental check before anybody adopted her. Anybody. Why ain't nobody questioning the Ciccones about hiding stuff from people? Information. I'm questioning that Ciccones ain't been questioned the whole damn time. The name Ciccones been brought up. Ain't nobody questioning these people. I'm wondering what's up. I wonder why since what was it, Cynthia ain't working. What does Anti do for a fucking living? You can't just be a preacher. You preach on Wednesdays and Sundays. You gotta be having somebody because you be wearing some suits, man. Them suits must cost you $1,000, man. And some of the things you doing, and plus I read they set up a GoFundMe for Natalia while she was living with him. He put her ass out because she took the money. Then he thought the money's supposed to go to her, so he put her ass out. But I'm gonna link to Dr. Oz episode down in the description. Tell me what you think down in this comment section. Now, to me, I think this girl needs help. And people quit adopting shit. And Padawans always remember, always look for the crack in the fabric before you pass your judgment. Question everything. I question why nobody listened to the three little families in the first place. Why didn't nobody pay attention to the main family? How come nobody was questioning them? If all this goes on, I kind of agree. If all this was going on, why wasn't the police called? If Natasha was trying to kill anybody, police. That's the fucked up thing. There's a phone call of Natalia saying, "I need help. I'm stalking my neighbors." It's like I'm always trying to kill her. She called 911 on herself, but then turns around and says, "Christine made me do it." If you live in that apartment by yourself, and the police ain't got they ain't no police report showed up. If the police showed up, they show up. They didn't see Christina Barnett. Then it's on Natalia. But tell me what you think down in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to my other channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Check out my TikTok, Instagram, fan page, group page. Tell me what you think down in the description down below. Peace, love, and Afro.